The emergency transmission hit Concordia's medical wing like a physical blow, priority codes flashing across every display simultaneously. Dr. Owen Reeves looked up from his routine inventory check, his stomach dropping as he read the message. Priority Alpha, diplomatic emergency. Serathi Princess Vela, critical condition. Assassination attempt ETA 17 minutes. All hands emergency prep. Owen's voice carried through the infirmary, triggering practice chaos. His staff moved instantly, their training overriding shock. Configure Bay 3 for Serathi physiology. Pull everything we have on their biology. Move. Owen's hands flew across his console, pulling up what little medical data the Serathi had shared with the coalition. It wasn't much. They were notoriously private about their internal biology, citing security concerns. He had basic organ structure, some circulatory information, and massive gaps where crucial details should be. 17 minutes to prepare for a patient whose physiology he barely understood. "Doctor," Nurse Kara called from the equipment bay, "we don't have enough Serathi-specific protocols. The database is incomplete. Do what you can. Adapt from similar species. We'll improvise the rest. Improvise while treating royalty, while treating the third in line to an empire spanning 12-star systems, while treating Princess Vela, the reformist whose advocacy for human Serathi cooperation had made her powerful friends and equally powerful enemies. No pressure at all." The docking alarm sounded. 14 minutes had somehow become zero, time compressing under emergency's weight. The airlock cycled, and they wheeled her in on a Serathi medical gurney that his staff struggled to interface with human equipment. Owen's breath caught. Princess Vela looked impossibly young, maybe 25 in human equivalent, though Serathi aging followed different patterns. Her distinctive elongated ears lay flat against her skull, the Serathi physiological response to trauma or unconsciousness. Her skin held a pallor that even his limited xenobiology knowledge recognized as wrong, and she was dying. Every monitor screamed it in different frequencies. "Toxin-based attack," the Serathi medic who'd accompanied her reported tersely. "Biological weapon targeting cellular cohesion. We've lost 3 of her staff already. She's the only one who survived the initial exposure." Owen's team transferred Vela to their equipment, adapters barely functional between technologies. He moved to her side, scanning her vital signs and trying to correlate Serathi readings with human equivalents. Her eyes opened. Just for a second. Just long enough to focus on him with surprising clarity, awareness and something that might have been trust or might have been desperation before consciousness fled again. Then her vital signs crashed. Alarms erupted across the bay. Owen's training kicked in, hands moving before conscious thought, but everything felt wrong. The readings made no sense. The toxin was doing something to her cellular structure that shouldn't be possible, cascading through systems he barely understood. "Stabilize her," Owen ordered, knowing it was futile, knowing they were watching a princess die and unable to stop it. 17 minutes of preparation. All of his training. None of it enough. 20 hours later, Owen still hadn't left Vela's side. His team rotated shifts. He remained, sustained by stimulants and desperation, watching her slow deterioration with the helpless rage of a physician who couldn't save his patient. They'd stabilized her, temporarily. The toxin's progression had slowed but not stopped. Every treatment that helped one system seemed to accelerate damage in another. It was elegant, horrible biological engineering, a weapon designed to be untreatable by anyone lacking complete Serathi medical knowledge. The Serathi diplomatic delegation arrived like a storm, Ambassador Korath leading them with the cold authority of someone accustomed to being obeyed. He was older than Vela, his ears marked with ceremonial scars that indicated high military rank before his diplomatic posting. "Report," Korath demanded, his English perfect and emotionless. Owen pulled up Vela's latest scans. "The toxin is specifically engineered to target Serathi cellular markers." It's causing progressive organ failure across multiple systems. I've slowed it, but without detailed medical specifications on Serathi internal biology, I'm essentially guessing treatments. How long? The question was clinical, precise. It made Owen's jaw clench. Hours, maybe a day with aggressive intervention. But Ambassador, if your people could share detailed medical data, classified. Korath's ears flattened. Serathi biological information is restricted for security reasons. Sharing it requires High Council authorization, which cannot be obtained in the available time frame. Owen stared at him. So she dies because of bureaucracy. She dies because of assassins who used our own biology against us, Korath corrected coldly. The classification exists precisely to prevent such attacks. Sharing that data could enable future biological weapons. The logic was circular, perfect, and condemned Vela to death for political expedience. After Korath departed, Owen returned to Vela's bedside, studying scans he'd memorized hours ago. There had to be something. Some approach he hadn't considered. He ran correlation algorithms, comparing Serathi physiology to every species in the Coalition database, searching for compatibility, for anything that might offer a treatment avenue. Then he saw it. Humans. Impossible, unlikely humans. The cellular markers the toxin targeted, Serathi-specific but evolved from similar evolutionary pressures that had shaped early human biology on completely different worlds. Parallel evolution creating remarkable similarities beneath obvious differences. Compatible blood chemistry. Owen's hands shook as he ran calculations, checked and rechecked results that seemed impossible. A complete blood transfusion. Replace Vela's compromised blood with compatible donor cells. Flush the toxin while buying time for proper Serathi medical intervention. It could work. The problem crystallized with terrible clarity. A complete transfusion would require approximately 80% of the donor's blood volume. The human donor would face catastrophic risk, permanent organ damage even with perfect support, death in most scenarios. Survival rate approximately 30%. Owen stared at the calculations, at Vela's unconscious face, at the monitors showing her slow death. Then he started running compatibility screenings on his own blood. Perfect match. You've lost your mind. Dr. Chen's voice carried disbelief and horror in equal measure. Owen, you're talking about suicide with a 30% survival rate. The senior staff conference had gone exactly as Owen expected. Shock, protest, attempts to find alternatives that didn't exist. He let them argue, let them exhaust objections, then spoke quietly into the chaos. I'm not asking permission. I'm informing you of my decision as ranking physician on this case. Nurse Kara's face was pale. We'll report you. Get you removed from duty before you can. By the time command responds, Princess Vela will be dead and the opportunity gone. Owen met each of their eyes in turn. I understand your objections. I've considered them all. But the mathematics are simple. Her survival rate without intervention is 0. With this procedure, she has maybe 70%. My survival rate drops to 30, but someone lives. That's better odds than we currently have. She's one person, Chen argued desperately. You're gambling your life for a princess whose death could trigger civil war in the Serathi Empire. For a reformist whose peace advocacy might prevent human-Serathi conflict that would cost millions of lives. Owen paused, but honestly, that's not why I'm doing this. He looked through the observation window at Vela's still form. She's 25 years old. She woke up for just a second when they brought her in, and she looked at me like she trusted me to help her. I won't betray that. His voice hardened. I took an oath to preserve life. Sometimes that oath costs everything. This is one of those times. Before they could organize further resistance, Owen began preparations. His staff could report him, could try to stop him, but bureaucracy moved slowly and Vela was dying now. Ambassador Korath appeared as Owen was being connected to the transfusion apparatus, his expression unreadable. You understand this will likely kill you, the Serathi said. I understand there's a chance it won't. Those odds are better than Princess Vela's current ones. Why? Korath's ears angled forward, genuine confusion breaking through diplomatic reserve. You owe her nothing. Your species has no obligation to sacrifice for ours. Owen considered while his team made final preparations, checking connections that would soon carry his life into another being. Because someone has to choose hope over calculation, he said finally. Someone has to believe saving one life matters even when costs seem unreasonable. He managed a weak smile. And because when she looked at me with those eyes, trusting me to help, I can't betray that trust. It's not in me. Korath studied him for a long moment, something shifting behind those alien features. Humanity continues to surprise us, he said quietly. We thought we understood your species. Perhaps we were wrong. The transfusion began, and Owen felt his life flowing away measured in precise milliliters. Pain, darkness, voices arguing through fog. Owen drifted between consciousness and absence, aware of his body failing in slow increments while machines fought to keep him alive. Monitors screamed. Someone Kara, he thought, was crying while maintaining his IV lines with shaking hands. Chen's voice rose in anger, demanding they stop before they lost him. But Owen could hear other sounds through the chaos. Vela's monitors. The toxin levels dropping. Impossibly, miraculously dropping. It was working. Time became meaningless. Hours might have been minutes. Darkness might have been death or just exhaustion. Owen couldn't tell anymore. Then he heard her voice, weak but conscious and absolutely certain. Stop. You're killing him. Stop the transfusion immediately. Your Highness, the toxin levels remain dangerous. I said stop. Authority rang through weakness, command that demanded obedience. I will not accept life purchased at this cost. Disconnect him now. Owen tried to speak, to tell them to continue, that this was his choice and she needed to let him make it. But his body refused to cooperate. Darkness pulled harder. The last thing he heard was Korath's voice, carrying emotion Owen had never heard from the stoic ambassador. Continue the procedure. Both of them survive or both die together. Those are the only acceptable outcomes. Then nothing. When awareness returned, gradual, reluctant, Owen's first sensation was warmth. His hand felt warm, held by something gentle but certain. His eyes opened slowly, the infirmary ceiling. Reduced lighting indicating rest cycle. And beside his bed, connected to support equipment but conscious and alive, Princess Vela sat watching him with her distinctive elongated ears tilted forward. You're an idiot, she said, her voice rough but carrying unmistakable warmth. A noble, selfless, completely insane idiot. Owen's lips moved before sound emerged. Did it work? Tears marked Vela's face. The toxin is neutralized. I'm alive because you decided one princess was worth dying for. She squeezed his hand carefully. Ambassador Korath asked you why. You gave him a beautiful answer about hope and trust. But I'm asking now, and I want the truth. Why did you really do this? Owen gathered strength, each word requiring effort. Because when you looked at me in that first moment before you lost consciousness, I saw someone who deserved to live. He paused, breathing carefully. Not because of titles or politics or what your death might mean for galactic stability, just because you deserve to live. That seemed like enough reason. Vela's tears fell freely. My people don't understand humans. We see you as impulsive, illogical, willing to throw away lives for abstract concepts. Her ears shifted to what Owen had learned signified profound respect. But you just taught me that sometimes those abstract